The fires, the wildfires, the conflagration, the destruction of what is happening in California is war. Its significance cannot possibly be overstated. The significance of it is being missed. And per usual, the usual suspects, the people who maintain still a sad to say the efforts of efficacy media, legacy media, excuse me, the usual mainstream sock puppets, they're just looking at pictures of orange skies, interviewing people. It's horrible, but there's no depth. They don't go beyond it. Watch what's happening. What do these people need to know? President Trump, drop what you're doing. I saw a picture yesterday of Donald Jr. and who was it, Charlie Kirk, and they look like, I swear to God, short bus time. I don't know what this was supposed to be. I don't know what the image of this was, but when you've got these two, they had two of the goofiest looking. This is what you're focusing on? This is it? Okay. All right. What do I know? I know. Don't say anything bad. Just smile. This, you should drop everything. To remind people, listen to what I am saying, and I'm going to say this again very, very clearly, I hope, cogently, with limpidity, pellucidity, and lucidity. This is war. This is not about a fire. This is not about a fire or fires. It's not. I mean, that's the name of the book, but the plot is different. The implications of this are so great. And that's why the president needs to have, and I hope he does, aside from the usual suspects, some really hardcore, almost like the way in the 60s they used astronomers and physicists and people who came together with the Manhattan Project, the great minds of the world. And you've got to tell the president, this is what's going on right now. This is what's happening. This is, if you think this is about a fire, you're missing the point. This is unbelievable. Nothing's going to be the same after this. Nothing. And this is why they've got to drop everything they're doing and pointing. And what are they doing right now? They're pardoning their friends. They're pardoning criminals. They're doing everything in their power. The only focus, even Kamala, who supposedly, or supposedly, as people say, the woman who lives and has a home in Los Angeles or San Francisco or the area, has shown no interest whatsoever. She's in the evacuation center. What is happening? And don't think for a moment that there's a lot of folks on the right who sadly say, well, you know what? Those lefties are getting what they wanted. You wanted all that climate change stuff? You want to hire this LGBTQIMOGGMOBB fire chief? You want DEI? Well, DEI is DEAD. And that may be nice and that may be true, but you're missing the point. So let me tell you something right now. If ever you have listened, listen now. I'm going to give you a take on this. Nobody is explaining, because you got to stop along the way. And you can't talk to some idiot sitting on a couch wearing tennis shoes with a suit and explain him to go into the Mr. Depth mode. Now, before we begin, let me make sure that you make sure you're subscribed to Lionel Nation. And I'm telling you right now, there's something also which deserves immediate attention. Immediate. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Now let's talk about what is happening here. And I want you to listen very carefully and listen very closely and listen to what I am saying. Let's get an idea of the level of horror that we're talking about. And this is war. This is not a fire. If you think this is just a fire, well, you're not paying attention, okay? Let's talk about what's happening right now. First and foremost, these fires are like nothing anybody has ever seen. These are they're going to be talking about this one forever. Forever. They are raging. People are using words like inferno, cataclysmic, embers, and red sky night fires. The Pacific Palisades imagine a slow motion bombing. This looks like Gaza. It's just swooping. And a lot of folks who didn't care anything about what was happening there in terms of the carnage and the horrors, having their neighborhoods, they say, well, you know what people said about that? Well, that's where Hamas is. Well, you got to get those tunnels. Oh, nope. Sorry. You voted those people in. No big deal. Yeah. Now, we're looking at this, and this is nothing compared to Gaza. Because all of a sudden, they're not dropping fire bombs, and all of a sudden, people are just wiped out. No, anyway. Remember, always analyze it from all different angles. But we're talking about affluent neighborhoods, white neighborhoods, Democratic neighborhoods, people in Hollywood, you name it. Gene Levy, our good friend James Woods, Ben Affleck. This is words like this is an apocalyptic nightmare. This is homes engulfed, landmarks, swaths of land just in flames. This started Tuesday morning near Piedra, Morada, Purple Stone, and Monte Hermoso, a beautiful mountain. Yesterday. Did you hear what I'm saying? Yesterday. And it morphed and grew seismically, catastrophically, metastatically, consuming 3,000 acres by the evening, forcing the evacuation of 30,000 people from multi-million-dollar beautiful homes and areas where they were told, you've got to leave. And nobody imagined, well, how were you going to leave this area? If nobody said, let's assume people had to evacuate, how would you do it? Fire hydrants didn't work because of the pressure. Helicopters couldn't get in because of the wind and because of the smoke and this and that. I mean, it wasn't this. Nobody thought about this. This fire, this hell, is advancing at a pace described as burning 3 football fields of land every minute. 3 football fields. 3 every minute. I mean, it's incredible. And then the Santa Ana winds 60, 90 miles an hour. I mean, incredible. The night sky is red. It's hell. It's hellish. You can't believe this. It's dystopian. It's horror. Thick smoke. And these embers, this is the word, these words that we normally consider embers, like, oh, well, beautiful fireplace. Stop for a second. Fire, water, the most important advancements to our civilization. Water, hydration. We came from the water. Water also was the most devastating in terms of flood and, oh my God, devastation. Fire is what was responsible for us being human. We got out of the trees because of fire. Because fire allowed us to cook. And when we cooked things, we could process it easier. Apes, huge, the great apes spend all day chewing stuff they can't digest. That's why their guts are so big. They're huge. By the way, their guts, because they are herbivores, are similar to, put it this way, theirs are more reminiscent of a vegetarian by virtue of the, anyway, I don't want to get into that argument because you're going to go off with your keto nonsense or whatever it is. But by virtue of fire, we were able to get out of the trees because in the old days, you had to stay right here. This is where the food is. We can't move because we're always eating and we spend half of the days chewing. Fire took care of that. Fire said we can cook things, we can meat, do this, and we can move. And when our guts became smaller and more contained, we're able to stand upright, walk, and perambulate, and locomote, and peregrinate much easier. So this thing called fire, which changed everything, we still haven't mastered it. This is the part I don't understand. Maybe you can. President Trump's got to be on this immediately because Joe Biden is walking around with his head up his ass and he doesn't know what he's doing and he's pardoning people. I would have drones. I would have people constantly. I'm saying, here's California. These are the areas where the fire starts. Elon, can you help us with satellites? Yes. Drone technology. Can we do this? Yes. Okay. We have firework. You have your own drones? Good. We knew when this started yesterday, hey, there's a fire here. We know this. Planes fly over. Neighbors are there. People smell it. You walk out and you have your phone and you go beep and you hit it and you say, here's my location. And you send it right to Cal Central, Fire Central. There's a fire here. It's a brush fire. It's right here. And I don't think, all of a sudden you hear, and the C-130s or the tankers or whatever the hell they're called, they fly over and they douse and saturate. And they just fill the area with fire retardant, water, you name it. Come out of nowhere. Right there. And they go back again. And that they soak it. And any flame that's available is gone. And you get the markers, like in cancer surgery. You get the markers. You get the areas around there, too. How difficult is that? And when I talk to people, they, well, because people will always, they won't say, that's a good point. They want to fight you on it. Well, you see the winds. Excuse me. F the winds. I just told you. You see it, and you take care of it right then. Why do you have to wait? They were told. The Weather Service gave red flag warnings over and over. The winds up. This is perfect. But Miss DEI, we'll get to that in a moment. No, that wasn't done. That wasn't done. I don't know what they're worried about. Firefighters on the ground are battling impossible. I mean, they're not putting on anything. Dwindling water supplies, no pressure, grounded aircraft due to poor visibility. Wind conditions has spread these embers like, I love this, it's terrible, fire tornadoes. And despite their incredible efforts, despite the fact that entire neighborhoods have been reduced to ash, we're going to get to this in a moment. This is a war zone. Even in Gaza, if the explosives and the bombs don't do so much, there's a remnant of what was, that was a building. There's nothing here. Images of these scenes show these incredible homes obliterated. Teslas and BMWs just abandoned and torched. There's this place, apparently it's a landmark, the Real Inn in Malibu, charred, gone, finished. There ain't no more there. And if you live there, and if you are James Woods, bless your heart, the area is devastated. A lot of good real estate. How much do you want to bet that as we speak, I don't want to keep bringing up BlackRock because BlackRock has become, like everything else, but how much these weird kind of an invisible consortia come out of nowhere offering to buy your property, buy your land right now, add up because you need the dough quick. We'll take it. Residents running for their lives describe panic-stricken escapes, gridlock roads, heart-wrenching decisions to leave behind prized possessions, pets, memories, your stuff. How many of you have ever had to go and clean up your parents' home after your parents die? Maybe the home you grew up in. Boxing. Saying, oh, look what mom saved. Oh, look, she saved this card I gave her. Oh, look at this meant a lot to her. Wow, I didn't know this. It's their life. It's their history. Houses and people's, these are musea. That's what it is. And to leave. And you see, in Florida, where I'm from, they have hurricanes which are kind of coming, which may or may not, they can kind of go around. And maybe if you put plywood up, like what's that great comedian? Plywood will just everything. They just don't have enough plywood. Plywood will save everything. Houses aren't just everything, as long as there's plywood. This plywood won't help. This is a different story. The devastation compounded by the lack of preparedness and glaring questions about, to put it mildly, resource allocation. Now, while California has faced decades of wildfires, forest fires, local fires, they've known about this forever. Fires are to California what earthquakes are to San Francisco. They have different designs. They're waiting for the big one. And people are asking the questions, why weren't there more preventive measures taken in one of the nation's wealthiest regions? How come their own leftist, radical left, Joe Biden, anti-Trump, why didn't these tree-hugging greeners say, we've got to talk about fire? Do you have a fire smoke alarm in your house? Yeah. You should. I mean, take that on a bigger level. Why didn't somebody from Hollywood say, let me give you the best case scenario? This is the way it worked. Fire comes like this. You've got to get out. You're going to go the last minute. You're going to water down your home because people have this crazy idea that they're going to go out there with their hose. They're going to water their home. Well, that's going to stop things. I don't mean to mock people, but you don't understand what this stuff does. Why were evacuation routes clogged? Why were water supplies limited? Why weren't advanced technologies such as drones or more robust and rational aerial firefighting systems deployed? Let me give you a different story, okay? Let's assume I'm a real bad actor. I'm a bad Chinese guy, and I hate America. Or I'm the cartel, and I hate the cartel. Okay, fine. So I pick up the phone and say, do me a favor. Now that we've habituated everybody to drone strike, you got those special drones? The ones, oh yeah, those, yeah, we have those? Yeah, good. I want you to send about 10 drones over simultaneously. And I don't know where they have to be released because of the battery life, but I want you to go right over these areas, and I want you to drop some incendiary device. Can we fire something? Sure. Can we drop something? Yeah, absolutely. Can we land and boom? Sure. Can we have a drone that itself blows up? Yeah. I think China, the Sinaloa cartel, some bad guy or somebody, I don't want to go false flag on you, an inside job, but just send some drones out there. All of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. I want 5 air, and I'm a layman. I don't know anything about this. I'm not an expert, but I would say I've got experts. Weather patterns go like this, go here, 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 and here. Do a perimeter, drop drones, or drop something, and then wait. These people can't handle one area. It's one area. It starts off, not 10, 1. You don't have 10, and if you do, something's up. Does that make any sense to you? How come this state's chronic underinvestment in fire prevention and its focus on green energy initiatives like that stupid high-speed train business? I want to bring you again the story of Ignaz Semmelweis, the doctor who said, let's wash our hands. Women, after, it's a long story, just look up Semmelweis, Ignaz Semmelweis. And they said, what are you, crazy? He says, no, I think we should wash our hands because we're taking people to the morgue and we're handling the bodies and we're coming back. They used to do surgeries. I'm Semmelweis. I'm going to say, put me in here. I'm going to sit around. Give me the money. I'm going to put together, I've got the biggest bunch. You should see my crew. I'm going to have Alex Jones. I'm going to have Greg Reese. I'm going to have every Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm going to have everybody, DEW experts. I want to have the biggest bunch of conspiracy crazies that you think are crazy who says, give me the worst case scenario. And that's where I'm going to start. But they don't do this. Gavin Newsom, again, declared a state of emergency, but was, interestingly, absent. I think as was the mayor of LA, reportedly attending some high-profile international things. I would get my ass there so fast. I would pull a Rudy Giuliani. I'd walk around with fires. I would have my face smudged. Before they took the pictures, I would go like this and rub my face and have the hat on and be like Chris Christie. I'd be out there ordering, get out. I would go knocking on doors. I would have a film crew. Oh, I would milk this baby for all it's worth. But they're not doing it because they don't even know how to do that. Because this is war. And let me say this again, and I don't want to, this may sound crass, but I can't help it. When I have told you repeatedly, I'm telling you, I said, they're planning something. This is going to be the new thing. It's going to be these, it's going to be, I don't know what you call it, natural disasters, whatever it is. But when I talk about food, there are people, by the way, who some who are still there. they're in the surrounding area, they can't get to stores. They're not in the immediate family, but they're around there. And you're going to say, well, we don't have to worry about fires. I'm not talking about you being in a wildfire. I'm explaining to you that these people never thought about, I'm not even in the area because this cancer spreads to everything. Prepared food, water purification, generators, emergency radio systems that you don't need batteries, 100-hour candles, things you have never. And if you think you can go to Costco and pick up an MRE, you're out of your mind. They're telling you. God is saying, wake the F up. Well, I don't know if God would say that. Preparewithlionel.com. Go right there now. I mean, what do you need? What do we need? Hurricanes, disasters, floods, fires, this. Remember the joke. It's not a joke, it's a parable. There's a flood. You've heard this before. A guy standing like this, and a rowboat goes by and says, jump in the boat. And the fellow says, God will save me. There's a boat up to here. Another boat goes by. Jump in the boat. There's a flood. He says, God will save me. Finally, he's on his tippy toes. He's almost covered with water. There's a helicopter. They're dropping a rope ladder. Grab the ladder. He says, God will save me. Well, sure enough, he drowns. Goes to heaven, sees God, walks up and says, hey, I want to talk to you. I said God would save me. Look what happened. And God says, what the hell's the matter with you? I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. God helps those who help themselves. I don't know what people need. Years ago, people, oh, you're a crazy prepper. Oh, you're a guy with a foil hat or whatever. Oh, my God. We went through toilet paper for COVID. And nobody got the squirts from COVID. They just went crazy. We buy bread and milk for snow. Preparewithlionel.com. I don't know how to, I really don't know. I really don't know. Brian Ekdahl says, getting my Mr. Lionel coffee cup and Lionel hoodie this week, sending a thank you and hand fart your way. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Edie says, this sounds very conspiratorial, but I believe the powers that be are saying, look what we can do, and if you're rich, it's a bitch. Could very be. By the way, it is not, well, maybe it is conspiratorial on that one. You might be right. Pilgrim says, I am auto-mourning the fires in Cali. I don't know. That came across, I know you didn't mean it. My heart goes out. Auto-mourn means an insincere, automatic, reflexive mourning and sadness. I'm feeling actual sadness for human beings. I'm an empathic human being. I am not a psychopath. And the fact that I'm able to show empathy and able to show an appreciation for something that isn't necessarily me shows a higher level of, I think, emotional and spiritual development. That's not auto-mourning. Auto-mourning doesn't mean I'm saying, auto-mourning means you don't believe it. You're just pretending. You're just posting things. You're saying, oh, my heart, no words. When in fact, oh, no, I can't imagine that. Do you know what you know what kids are going through? Old people? This is their home. This is war. This is war. It's not auto-mourn by any, maybe you didn't mean that. And by the way, this word conspiracy theory, I'm telling you right now, it's the wrong word. I say it again. Conspiracy theories, remember during the Rona? Remember everything we said? It all was true. It wasn't a conspiracy theory, it's true. A conspiracy means 2 people. If there is a fire, let's say, and you said, Jerry did it. Jerry did it. It turns out Jerry's the arsonist. And if the people said, no, this was an electrical fire, you said, no, Jerry did it. I know he did it. That's not a conspiracy theory because Jerry's acting alone. It's only a conspiracy theory if Jerry or at least someone else are working in concert with somebody else. Conspiracy means 2 or more people. 2 or more people. There's no conspiracy theory. If Gavin Newsom is, let's say, causing this, I'm not saying he is. It's one person. It's not a conspiracy theory. You're saying Gavin Newsom did it. If you come home and you say, hey, look, there was a fire. Oh, look, Mrs. Alabaster was, she was consumed. You said, no, check again. She was terminated prior to this by her son. That's not a conspiracy theory because there's one person. Conspiracy deals with the number of people in coordination. A conspiracy theory does not mean crazy. Get it through. Tell everybody you know. Say, excuse me, you're using that word incorrectly. Excuse me, that's not the word. Excuse me. Sometimes, especially women, for all they know, they would refer to the breast area. They would confuse nipple with the areola. And they would call it areola, but it's the areola. And they would confuse the two. They would think one is the other. No, it's the wrong word. So just think about this. But these wild ideas that people say, they call conspiracy theories, have begun to swirl, fueled by the uncanny targeting of affluent neighborhoods. And the suspicious timing of these fires right around these interesting globalist narratives surrounding climate change. Remember during Son of Sam. What was it, honey? 77, Son of Sam? Son of Sam, 77. And the police had maps with red dots and this, and they said long hair. They had long hair. Maybe long brown hair. Or maybe that was it. And people dyed their hair blonde or cut their hair. That wasn't a conspiracy theory. That was looking at traits, look at what's going on. So you have these interesting people. Now, there are those of us, and we must understand this, there are those of us in our group, and God bless them, they're out to lunch, who just love this. And they will immediately say, DEW, directed energy weapon, even though there's no evidence of it. They just know this. Weather manipulation, HARP, weather manipulation, Storm Fury, Operation Pop. They just say these things. I knew that. I don't know. I know people who say, USS Liberty, USS Liberty. It's like a parrot. USS Liberty. This is all they know. Now, it could be these DEWs, and we'll talk about that, because you don't see lasers necessarily. It could be weather manipulation. It could be, maybe, we'll see. But put this as a possibility. It must be confirmed. If you are a forensic pathologist and you come in there, there's basically, as you know, there is really 4 styles, if you will, and the acronym is NASH. NASH, natural, accidental, suicide, or homicide, right? And it's actually unexplained, so it's NASHU. There's only a few things here. There's gunshot, there's strangulation, there's probably, there's only a few. So you don't go in there saying, look for asphyxiation during strangulation. Why? There's other things involved. So just focus on this. But DEW is interesting. But we also have these things, and this is what people like the numbnuts on Fox News or Newsmax or CNN or whatever. If you said, if you walked into what's left of the CNN newsroom or Fox News and say, here's $1,000. Who's heard of Agenda 21? Anybody? You mean Century 21? No, the real estate, or there was a great clothing place called Century 21. It was fantastic. Anyway, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Vision 2045. What? What are you talking about? Codex Alimentarius? What? The MIAC report? The MIAC report? What are you talking about? Continuity of government? What? They don't know anything. They just don't know anything. We know it. And of course, some of us might know it too much. These are global frameworks. They love to tell you what they're doing. They emphasize sustainable development and urban planning. making some people wonder, these interesting disasters, they seem to be orchestrated to reshape land use, depopulation of rural areas, helping to push through climate-related policies, under this this aegis of emergencies. And the best part is there's no tangible answers. No, there's nothing other than the consistent framing of climate change as the sole culprit. Makes people say, I'm telling you, that's what they're doing. Why is that unreasonable? Try explaining to Harris Faulkner or any of these people that you go to, Breitbart, National, New York Post, who do you want? Go ahead, ask them this. Who's your favorite? What do you want to do? Who? They're not talking about this. Hell no. That's crazy talk. And some of the people who have are crazy. Doesn't mean they're not wrong. Tesla was a little crazy. Look what he did. Climate change advocates have been quick to frame this fire as a wake-up call for stronger environmental policies. But rational people are saying, wait a minute, the narrative often is distracting you from actionable, immediate solutions like, improving infrastructure, which the Biden administration talks about all the time. How about clearing dry brush? How about firefighting resources? How about drones? How about getting somebody who knows what the hell they're doing? In fact, the National Weather Service issued red flag warnings, not like the gun warnings, but they didn't listen. And this has led to a lot of people wondering whether this global warming rhetoric, does this replace practical disaster preparedness? And the human toll? Oh, forget it. Burn victims, firefighters suffering injuries. And by the way, these aren't just firefighters. You don't call, these are the special Cal Fire, whatever. These are specialists. You don't call the local guy who gets on the truck and God bless him. There was a 102-year-old woman. See this Velma Wright. She had to be evacuated. And it's also wonderful to see the wonderful human preparedness and human cooperation. But people are talking about they're experiencing leaving everything they know behind, everything they have rather. There was one resident who recounted how these embers. We talk about embers, but they flew into her car. I don't know if she had the windows down, whatever. But as she tried to evacuate, forcing her to abandon the vehicle and flee on foot. And when you leave your car, trucks can't get there. So what is Joe Biden doing? What is Kamala doing? Nada, ni cojones, nothing. They issue statements. They offer federal support. They praise first responders. Our thoughts and prayers. Oh, we're so good at that. Keep your thoughts and keep your prayers. Send help. They're praying too. That ain't going to cut it. That's auto mourn. Well, my thoughts and prayers. Oh, I'm speechless. Oh, shut up. God damn it, go and help. Prepare this. But these words and these thoughts and these prayers have little to do to quell the anxiety and the sheer frustration. And if you're a kid, in fact, Kamala, she has an LA home within the evacuation zone. And she's currently in D.C., of course, and described the disaster as deeply personal. But her remarks, along with Biden walking around, feel rather insufficient. And as these firefighters are fighting, struggling, I say, what do we do? Do you know what it is to be a firefighter? You go, are you kidding me? What do we do? I'm just standing here. I got a hose and I've got this 10-mile wall of death coming at me. This is a joke. I mean, this is incredible. Oh, and you're going to see PTSD. Oh, that's the least of the problem. And people are asking the bigger implications. What the hell's going on here? Is this simply natural factors by climate change? Or is there something more nefarious? They're going to be looking at the burn patterns. And people like you and me are going to be going elsewhere. Not to Harris Foster. I know I keep picking on Harris Foster. That's just the stupidest show. They talk about nothing. They talk about the obvious. I mean, I don't know about you. See what I could do. What's this? It's a mug. No, it's more than a mug. Mugs right now, this is merchandise. And remember when you were a kid, you didn't have mugs. You had cups and saucers. Remember that? A saucer. Remember what that? We don't have those anymore. The mug came along later on with a handle. I mean, you could do an hour on it. What they'll do is, it's a mug, because they just want to do this. And then you got that Ashley, what's her face, or Aisley. She just sits there just reading stuff. I mean, it's just like, this is a joke. This thing is dead. I want to go for more. I want to go deep, 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 deep. I mean, what are they going to do to finally take? And listen to this. Oh, by the way, did you hear this? Now, wait a minute. Get ready for this. Get ready, kids. Good news. Los Angeles Fire Department Chief Kristen Crowley, yes, was appointed in 2022 as the first female and openly LGBTQ plus chief. Yeah. And she and her department place significant emphasis on diversity, inclusion, and equity. And DEI is DEAD. How many of these do you have to understand? And while her appointment and her positioning was celebrated by many of the left as groundbreaking and wonderful inclusivity, a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, this is nonsense. Especially people who live there. And people who are hardcore. Remember, a lot of people who are hardcore lefties are saying, what is this bullshit? I don't give a damn if she's a necrophile with a nose ring. Who cares? Does she know what she's doing? Including the department's ongoing challenges with increasing catastrophic wildfires. Does she know what she's doing? This is incredible. Now, every now and then sometimes it works. We have Jessica Tisch, by the way, who's a new NYPD commissioner. She is great. Oh, I thought, who is this Judge Rule? She was in charge of sanitation. She's fantastic. So it works. And she's just a plain old Harvard-educated woman. I think she's just, whatever. But she's great. Doesn't mean that they can't be. But do you know what you're doing? A lot of people are questioning whether the focus on identity and social initiatives under her leadership, because that's what she cared about, maybe detracted, you think, from addressing, I don't know, operational, realistic priorities like resource allocation. These sound so boring, disaster preparedness, the implementation of advanced firefighting. You see what's happening? This is the biggest story. This is it. Where's President Trump? He should be all over this. Don't get down and, hey, I'm Charlie Kirk. We're in Greenland. Isn't this cool? Hey, look, there's 4 people with MAGA hats. What are you doing? This is it. Imagine you're in Greenland, you're happy, and these two jadrules show up and go, hey, I'm Charlie Kirk. Oh, God. I know. You don't like it when I tell you the truth. Admit it. You hate it. Oh, don't say anything wrong about them. It's stupid. I would tell J.D. Vance or somebody, you get your ass over there now. Dude, whoever it is, get over now. Vivek, go now. Maybe get that Seb Gorka. Somebody. Own it. Do you know when Rudy Giuliani was here? Do you know what Rudy Giuliani would have owned that? He would have walked around. He would have the jacket on. He would be there. He would be the face of it. He would be there. Chris Christie. You know where Chris Christie got his bones, where he got straightened out? It was during Katrina when he was... Sandy. He walked out and he did his famous, get off of the damn beach. And he had that velour thing, which, like Steve Bannon's jacket, probably just stood up. And Lyndon Johnson, 1965. Own this. How many people right now do you think on the right are saying, good, let the left eat this? I don't think like that. I'm not a psychopath. My heart goes out to these people. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not doing my thoughts and prayers. I'm telling you. But this is bigger. Now, you know, and I don't want to keep jumping on BlackRock all the time because it's become, see, once you get part of the labeling, but somebody somewhere is saying, you watching this? Yeah. We got our teams here? Yep. As predicted, all of a sudden you're going to send teams out who represent shell corporations, We can say, we can offer you right now. We'll give you X amount for your property. Right now, boom, quit claim deed. It's ours. There you go. Here's the cash. Have a nice day. You know what that real estate is going to be? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And Lahaina? Nobody talked about that. President Trump has got to get conspiratorial, as they say, and fast, and tell people specifically, this is what's going on. This is what's happening right now. This is it. One more thing I want to tell you, and I'm going to say right now, on a kind of a lighter note, not even a lighter note, I don't know what the hell that means. Our good friend, Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell is absolutely, positively, 100% on fire. MyPillow.com right now. I shouldn't say on fire. See, these puns, I didn't mean that. But with his classic collections, bed sheet sets, my towels, slippers. The slippers. If you think about it, somebody said, we're pretty good at making soft stuff like, mattress toppers and mattresses and towels and bathrobes and pillows. What about slippers? Oh my God. Those things, and I think I sandals and slippers and my slippers on sale. These you will wear with formal wear. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. MyPillow.com/Lionel. Go there now. Now let me tell you what's going to happen. Nothing. Remember, I'm telling you this. Nothing. Nobody is going to do anything. Immediately, you're having these people who are this, I don't know where, but somebody came up with the idea that suggesting DEWs is an anti-Semitic trope because it's Jewish lasers or not Jewish lightning. That was that awful pejorative for arson, like the Sicilian flu, the Irish flu, a hangover, all this stuff. We're not talking about that. But this is what's happening. Now is the time for us to make inroads and to explain to the people, we need cadres of people, we need new people, we need new folks, and not to repeat these stupid tropes that are unsubstantiated. And let me ask people, remember something. Always let people figure it out for themselves. Don't ever tell them. Remember during the Rona? Remember this? Remember what we were saying about Wuhan? Remember this? Remember what gain of function is? Remember all this stuff? Our team loved to say, this is what it is. It's this. It happened in Wuhan. It's in the lab. The best thing to do is to say, let me tell you an interesting coincidence. Do you find it interesting that there are these things called Agenda 21, 2030, Vision, all these things? Isn't that interesting? Barry Taylor, by the way, says, remember Rosa Coyer? She exposed the impacts of sustainable development on private property rights and individual liberty. No, but you know what? We're going to review that. Remember one thing, and thank you, by the way, Barry. There are people who do things and they will tell you, I don't understand it. Sometimes things will make sense. Bobby Kennedy brought up dyes in cereals. Do you know how long it's been that people have been talking about food dyes and the fact that you can't buy these items in Canada, but you can here? Do you know how long? Do you think this is new? Do you think this is brand new? No. What's with Bobby Kennedy? I love when people ask me sometimes a legal advice. I give them a legal advice and they don't listen to me. And then somebody else says something, go, my son-in-law said, I said, well, that's what I told you. Well, I don't know why. And I'm kind of used to that, people. You can tell people certain things. You ever talk to your kid and they said, let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you. You know that if such as I mean, look at you. They're not listening because you're their parent or something, and they, you're a jerk, and you're just saying that because you want to ruin their fun. We have the mentality of a child. Let me tell you, interesting, two different things about children. Very interesting. Watch the development of speaking of children. First thing is object permanence. You loved that as a kid. Well, actually, it's self-awareness, which is really important, but object permanence is wonderful thing. Is why we, it's why we play peekaboo. Look at me, look at daddy, look, I'm here. Just because you can't see me doesn't mean I'm not here. See this? Oh, here I am, peekaboo. Oh, here I am. So if I don't, okay. So you're still there. I got it. So if you're in the next room, you're not gone. You're just in the next room. It may sound like a simple concept to you. Okay. Another thing to have, which is very difficult for kids to understand, is this is important. Is to understand the notion of consequence. And consequence involves something else, which is called the future. And the future is very difficult for kids to understand. When I was a kid, my mother, bless her heart, used to have these things before we were really little. She says, Christmas is next week. What? So she took little Christmas trees and she cut them out. We colored them in green, and she had them in the kitchen on these things. And she go, take that out. One more day closer to Christmas. Oh, that's a day? Okay. Wow. That's just a week. No, that wasn't a week. That was a month. I didn't understand this. That's what they do. But more importantly, that's temporal. Conditional is different. Consequence. If you do this. If you don't wear a helmet and you fall, this, that's, I don't know what that means. We don't do that. The psychopath, this word that is used to describe people we don't like, people who are evil, you're never going to meet a psychopath, most probably in your life. Never. And the same thing goes for a narcissist. That word means nothing. Yeah, there's a few, but not what we're talking about. And the hardest part people to understand is this grasping about the psychopath is there's no appreciation for consequence because there's no, and you say there's no morality. And I say there's another thing too. The head and the heart are not connected, which all are the ways of saying the same thing. If I tell you tell your kid, listen, you can't run out in the street without looking. You'll be hit by a car. They don't understand what that means. You say, okay, let me show you something. Here, this is what it looks like when somebody's hit by a car. Oh my God. You see what I just did? See what I just did? The head understands hitting by a car. The heart, oh my God. That's what a psychopath doesn't have. That's what a child doesn't have. It's the connection. They can. Consequence, head and heart, no connection. They'll understand, okay, but there's no reaction. That's the issue. In many respects, we are psychopaths. We don't understand what it means. It doesn't mean these things. And you see it a lot of times when you grow up, people start smoking. People will do drugs. I saw this thing about Paris Jackson or something. She's Michael Jackson's daughter. I think she's sober for heroin. Why did you do heroin? Well, did you not know about heroin? Did you not understand about heroin? Did you ever hear about heroin? I thought it was cool. You thought it was cool? Did you not hear about heroin? Did you not know about heroin? You got to ask yourself, why do people do this? Why do people do this? It's this thing here. Let me give you another one. I'm going to bring this in Mrs. L. And by the way, as I've told you, I have a link. It is right now 11 days until Mrs. L's birthday. And what she wants is to hit 100,000 subscribers. 10,000 will do for the time being. I want you to follow Lynn's Warriors. I put a link at the very top. It's in the top of the link. Lynn's Warriors. I want you to go. Lynn's Warriors. And let me tell you what's happening. Let me give you an example of this. And it all kind of ties in. When you talk about these people, this new group of the people who use the word warriors for kids, they rip her off, doesn't matter, as long as it saves a child. But it's like, hey, numbnuts, listen to me. Your kid is most probably going to be lured by somebody using their phone or devices. Do you hear what I said? Do you hear what? No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not listening. It happens. And when people hear this, they say, did you hear about this girl? What happened? Well, she was rescued. Rescued? Yes, she was being sold. Really? Well, how did they get her? Well, she met some guy online. Oh, come on. And that's what they do. They say, well, it's your own damn fault. Same thing with Paris Jackson. You got on heroin. Nobody forced you to do heroin. You did it on. It's like you're missing the point. You don't understand how people think. There's no, I don't know what the judgment, executive centers, whatever it is, appreciation for consequence. I don't know. They can't get it. There is a God. Well, if there is a God, thank God, Mrs. Allen, I do not have. If I had a little girl right now, I would terrify her. She wouldn't be able to sleep. And I'm going to show you something. See this kid here in the field? What was that? Yeah. See that kid? Oh my God. Is she? Oh yeah, she is. After a couple of days. Nasty, huh? Yeah. See, the dogs got her and the animals. And you know how she got there? She went online and met somebody. That's what she did. Want to see another one? See this girl? Same thing. Guess how she ended up there? She met somebody online. Nobody kidnapped her. She met him and didn't tell her parents. And she didn't listen to her parents. You want to see another one? Well, that's just here in this city. I've got thousands of these. You want to do it? This kid would be in the closet. Stop. Make him stop. Do you understand what I'm telling you? That's the way to teach people. Why? Your head and your heart are connected. Tell a psychopath kid that. How long has she been there? Week? Wow. What kind of animals do you think got her? This is what a true psychopath does. Psychopath's not going to hurt anybody. Just doesn't understand it. There's no emotion. There's no. Wow. You got any more of those? Yeah. Okay. That's the thing. We are partly psychopathic. We don't react to this. We don't react. We've got people who, when you say, hey, I think I found something here. I think I found a connection. Oh, there you are. You're a conspiracy theorist. This is what people think. This is what people think. They don't get it. So I'm dealing with, I'll put it this way. We have another one in our group. This is the head and the heart. It's the head that responds only. With sometimes people who want to tell you things. Well, this is probably HARP. You didn't know I knew that, right? You see, weather manipulation. See, HARP, basically it was back in the 60s with Operation Popeye and Storm Fury. It's silver iodide. Well, that's Black Rock. Well, obviously that's definitely, that's satanic. Well, that's spirit cooking. We got these people. They just want to tell you how much they know. They know everything. Well, it's the end game. As Bernays said. Okay, fine, thank you. So I've got all these people I'm dealing with. But I'd rather take that guy or gal because I can bring them in because I want to connect the hard part. They need to be reconnected because they're there. You have to respond to something. And what happens is we are getting a lot of people who are fans, who are involved, I hate to say this, in levels of kind of like this detached something. I don't know what it is. I don't think you should be afraid, but I think you should be wary. And better word, chary, C-H-A-R-Y, which means the same thing, which is a very rare word. This is where we are right now. And we have no organizational media to even address this. Now, let me tell you some things which are absolutely the truth. Number one, I'm not saying they're evil. I'm not saying they're psychopaths. I'll let other people do that. There are people who get together and they are willing to, they want to be in charge of the world. We've always had these people. They say, you have your government. And they're not Klaus Schwab. That's too much of the obvious. It's not George Soros. But, and maybe, to an extent, maybe not even Elon Musk. Because remember, Elon Musk hasn't really developed yet his own, he's still a young man. He hasn't really, when he hits like the Kissinger stage. But I want you to listen and I want you to sit down. And I want you to understand that we are in a war, a cultural, political, moral, spiritual, ideological, historical war. Lionel, what is going on with Fox News? It's bad. I know. I don't watch it. That's why I don't really watch it. But thank you. I don't really care. That's for children. That's for children. Okay? Now, somewhere there's a balance. You've got that group of people, but it's also CNN and Newsmax and there's OAN, and they actually want to hire Matt Gaetz. Okay, fine. If you like that, that's terrific. Great. Have a nice day. Then we have other people too, but the other people, our side, I want people who understand my view of it. And these are the people who sat back, who were in Nazi Germany, before it was Nazi Germany, who were in Cuba. All of my friends who were growing up, all my Cuban friends, they were part of the brain drain 5960. They came over. And their parents saw what was happening with Castro. They saw immediately what was happening. Immediately. They were paying attention. The other people didn't get it. They wanted to believe. They thought Batista, they couldn't wait. Yeah, Batista may have been bad, but this is a different story. With Batista, you own stuff. Everything's black and white. This is the chance for you and me, and I mean this, to make an impact. And what it means is very simply this, and to see if you're up for it, you've got to immerse yourself in self-study. You're going to have to be an autodidact. You're going to have to spend your time researching, reading, listening, being able to analyze. I told you this before, and I know it sounds really, really highfalutin, but I want to teach you how to think. Not what to know, how to think. I want you to be able to sit down and I want to watch how you figure out the problem. How do you do this? I remember one time trying to explain to a child the notion of fractions. And it just made no sense. Nobody understood the topology, the big picture. What do you say? 1 divided by 2 and 0.5. I don't know what that means. I don't know what is it? You might as well do hieroglyphics. But if I said, let me show you something. I got this cookie here. And let's say I wanted to share it with you. What do you think we should do? Kids will say, oh, we'll split it. What was that? We'll split it. KZ says, I knew everything when I was 16. Each year since then, I learned more, but know less and less. Well, it's funny you say that. I know I am overwhelmed by how little I know. But I know where to go to correct that. And thank you for that. So as I'm talking, I'm saying, what'd you do? Oh, well, let's split it. You know what that splitting's called? What? You cut it in half. Yeah, I know what a half is. when you split something. Interesting. So we took one thing here, but we wanted it to go 2 places. Okay, that's division. Cancel interesting. What if there's 3 of us? How do you split 3? Well, you're going to split it in a different way. That's the way to teach people. But they don't do that. Because you got a tenured teacher who, by the way, is trying to get tenure, trying to get out. No big deal. She's got to work. She's got tests. Doesn't have time for that. Nobody has time for that. That's why homeschooling is important. Give me the ability to understand. Let me train somebody what something really means. What does somebody mean? That's why music is so critical. That's why when you say notes, B, C, D, E, F, A, and then you say, ready for this? This is C. Now listen, this is C sharp. Ooh, I heard that. You hear that? That's like saying, here's 7, here's 7.2. All these things blend in to a child to stretch that brain out. That's all. It stretches. When you go out to run or to exercise, you will pull your leg back and bend and stretch and bend over and pull you'll contort and configure yourself into positions that are never replicated during the act of the running itself. But by virtue of this, you're stretching your. That's what I want people to do. And that involves critical thinking, but also history. See, it's one thing when you say, be careful of him. Why? You just don't like him. No, I've got his criminal record here. What? Yeah, he's been in prison 4 times. What? See, that's history. History's. I didn't know that. Well, if you don't know that. So if you don't understand what these globalist people do, you can call them whatever you want. This is what they do. What do you think then? I guarantee you, if you go to 42nd and right there in the river in First Avenue, there's a UN right there. Just go all the way. Can't miss it. And if you ask somebody, what's that? The United Nations. What's their jurisdiction? Do they do good or bad? Good. They have no idea. No idea about globalism. They have no idea about any of this stuff. If you hand somebody a joint for the first time, this is in the 70s, they say, this is great. Or maybe not. But if you said, can I explain to you international distribution cartels? You say, what are you talking about? So my friends, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be hitting this over and over and over until people get it. This is about preparedness, globalism, DEW, perhaps, alternative theories, but DEI. DEI, DEW, DEAD. Do not let this moment go by without grasping the criticality of it. That's all. Now, my friends, 2 things, or 3 things actually. Number 1, let me thank K2Z, Brian Ekdahl, Barry Taylor, Pilgrim Media, Edie Crowley, and thank you for your time. Please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. I put a link right up at the top here. Lynn's Warriors. Remember, 11 days. What she has done. Oh my God. She is so smart. You should see her the other day, if you get a chance, with Nancy Grace, who is terrific. You should have seen Mrs. L and Nancy Grace. Wow. I mean, wow. Because she looks, Mrs. L, she looks very kind, doesn't she? Beautiful, very elegant. She's a killer. You don't understand this. She's like that beautiful flower that lures in, and then, it's like a Venus flytrap, one of those angler fish. Oh, how nice. Oh, yeah? Get closer. Come on, take her on. That's nice. Go ahead. She'll kill you. Believe me, she's a killer. And it's her birthday in 11 days, all right? So you follow her. You got that, honey? You're a killer. So it's 11 days. Follow her at Lynn's Warriors, okay? Very, very critical. Also, we'll be back later on this evening, and make sure I ask you too. I do not know what is going on, and I want to bring this to your attention. But I have a feeling that there is some kind of a nefarious cabal or something that is stripping my subscribers as well. And I don't know what's going on. I have told more people that I didn't unsubscribe. I don't know how many people you unsubscribe to. I don't. I think there's something going on. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it sure looks like it. That's why you must subscribe to Lionel Nation. Do it now. I'm telling you. Don't. All we care about, I hate to say it, metrics. There are people right now who have the mentality of a soap dish, but because they have 2 million viewers, they're considered great. Just like, you ever meet a complete idiot? And they go, went to Harvard. Oh, he's a millionaire. Oh, I say, wait a minute, but he's still an idiot. Yeah, but he's a rich idiot. Metrics matter. Sorry. So follow Lionel Nation and Lynn's Warriors. Have a great and glorious day, my friends. See you tonight. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Ta-ta.